بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله نحمده ونصلي ونسلم على رسوله الكريم أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وكونوا مع الصادقين صدق الله العظيم قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم من يأخذ عني هؤلاء الكلمات من يعمل بهن أو يعلم من يعمل بهن قال أنا يا رسول الله فقال اتق المحارم تكن أعبد الناس وارض بما قسم الله لك تكن أغنى الناس وتحب لنفسك ما تحب لأخيك وأحسن إلى جارك تكن مؤمنا صدق رسوله النبي الكريم ونحن على ذلك من الشاهدين Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brothers and elders, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has honored us and has favored us in many ways. One of the greatest favor of Allah which all of us are currently enjoying at this moment is the favor of being seated in the house of Allah. At this time of fitna, time of festive season, where many people have lost their ways, many people are in places where they are not supposed to be. But Allah has selected you and I and any other Muslim around the world who is seated in a masjid listening to the talks of the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There is something really to be grateful for. All of us know that who do we call to our house? In our houses, not anyone comes. Only that person whom we love, that person whom we respect, that person whom we like, only he gets the honor of being called into our house. Then we call a person to the house, we entertain him, give him a meal, have a chat with him. According to how close the bond is, the longer the stay will be of that person into your house. Not any person comes to your house. In a very same manner, Allah Rabbul Izzah only invites those whom He loves to His house. So sit here with that mind, with that thought in mind. Allah has selected me to be seated in His house. Just to understand this, just for us to understand the importance of this. In one locality there was one brother. He was a brother who was active in the effort of Dawat and Tabligh. So everyone knew if you spoke about Jama'at work in this masjid, this uncle is the man. He was the pillar of the masjid. If you talk of 3 days, he was there. Shab Guzari, he was there. Ta'aleem, he was there. Every amal he was doing. After some time, people noticed that uncle was now no more to be found. No more in the masjid, no more for gash, no more for ta'aleem. He's nowhere to be seen anymore. So now the people, some of the serious brothers of the area became concerned, and rightfully so. All of us, when we see a decline in any person, a dini decline, somebody was, mashallah, being a dindar person, and now suddenly he just drops. So what is supposed to be our approach to that? One is to laugh at him and mock at him and say, yeah, you see, he thought he was Allah. He thought he was a Nabi. He thought he was a pious person. Now see where he is today. That's one way. That's a wrong way that's a wrong approach to the situation. The one is, this brother was so good. What happened to him? So you try and understand what might have been the cause of his decline. Not so that you look down upon him, rather so that you take lesson from it. So some brothers now became concerned as to what has happened to this brother of ours. So then they go to the seniors in the markaz and they ask that in our locality this is the situation. Maybe the elders might have a reason or might have something which might outwardly be the reason for his decline. Can you tell us what is a possible reason for this? The elders say, you know what, we can't tell you, Allah knows best. But according to what you are telling us, what we can tell you is this person did everything. You talk of namaz, you talk of Jamaat, every good deed he did. But what comes to our mind which might have been the cause is he did everything, but he forgot to do one thing. He forgot to do one thing. Everyone was curious. That's what it is. The elders say he forgot to thank Allah. He forgot to thank Allah. So whenever you went masjid, it's not your own perfection that you went masjid. Thank Allah, oh Allah, how many Muslims out there are not coming to the masjid? Oh Allah, you chose me to come. Whenever you do any good deed, is no kamal of yours, is no perfection of yours, is no qualification of yours which afforded you the opportunity. Rather, it is Allah who chose you to do that good deed. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when he's talking to Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he tells him, O Muhammad, وَمَا كُنْتَ تَرْجُو أَن يُلْقَى إِلَيْكَ الْكِتَابُ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً مِّن رَبِّكَ. It never ever crossed your mind that one day I'll make you a Nabi. It never ever crossed your mind that one day I'll make you the best of my creation. إِلَّا رَحْمَةً مِّن رَبِّكَ. It's only and purely my divine selection which I chose you with. So the same thing we apply in our life. When we are doing anything good, any good deed, we find ourselves in some good dini level. What are we supposed to be doing? The first thing is thank Allah. Oh Allah, how many of your servants? Oh Allah, I'm a Muslim. How many Muslims out there are far from your deen? Oh Allah, you chose me to come to your masjid. Oh Allah, I'm wearing a sunnah libas, I'm wearing a kurta. Does it mean I must look down upon the person who got no kurta? No. Oh Allah, you give me tawfiq to it, alhamdulillah. I got beard. Does it mean that I must look down on a person that got no beard? No. Oh Allah, you gave me tawfiq. Instead, what are we supposed to be doing? Make dua, oh Allah, just like how you gave me tawfiq, oh Allah, give him tawfiq also. That's a Muslim is that person who rejoices on the happiness of other people. So I'm seeing him, he's good, he's well. In his deeni level, his life is on deen. Alhamdulillah. May Allah make me like him. And I'm seeing him is far from deen. Allah, bring him back to deen. One of the du'as which our past elders used to make was Allahumma ruddal muslimina ila deenika maraddan jamila. Allah, you return the believers to your deen. Allah, make them steadfast onto your deen. So brothers and elders, let's sit here. Let's take this nasihat and let's keep it in our mind. And our whole life, inshallah, thumma inshallah, whenever we are doing anything, whenever we find ourselves doing any good deed, any amal salihah, first thing which must come to our mind is, thank Allah. Thank Allah. Oh Allah, it's only through your favor, through your fazl, through your grace that I am doing this. So that is shukr. Last week, Maulik Suhail spoke about shukr. One is shukr of the dunyawi favors of Allah, the wealth and everything else. Other thing is shukr, thanking Allah for what? For the deeni favors of Allah. The tawfiq to do good deeds, that's a big favor. Remember, that thought to do amal salihah, that thought to do something good is like a guest. That guest that came to your house, if he came first time and you entertained him, you took well of him, you took care of him, you gave him everything, you made sure he's comfortable, inshallah, he will come again next time, inshallah. But then that guest who comes to your house and you give him no attention at all, and you ignore him, and you give him a dirty room to stay in, and you give him rotten food, you think that guy will come back to your house again? The same thing. That thought to do good deeds, which Allah put in our mind, whenever that thought comes, make sure you make amal upon it. Make sure you do that deed. Why? Because if you keep on ignoring that thought, it's a matter of time. Such thoughts will never come again. Such thoughts take long to come. Then what happens? As the longer it takes to come, what happens? Gradually the heart dies. The heart's now no more looks forward to doing good deeds. Why? Because it lost value of good deeds. So brothers and elders, shukr. Thank Allah Ta'ala for the favors of deen. Today, our topic was, I wanted to discuss with you one hadith of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, where he tells his Sahaba, he comes to his Sahaba and he tells them, مَنْ يَأْخُذُ عَنِّي هَؤُلَاءِ الْكَلِمَاتِ. I have some words of advice which I want to give out, but I want somebody who will take it from me. But not just take it, مَنْ يَعْمَلُ بِهِنَّ, a person who will take it from me, make amal upon it, practice upon it, or if you can't do that, at least, يُعَلِّمُ مَنْ يَعْمَلُ بِهِنَّ, or teach it to somebody who will make amal upon it. So Hazrat Abu Hurairah was there. He says, Ana ya Rasulullah, I will do both. I will do both. I will make amal upon it and I will teach you something else also. He says, فَأَخَذَ بِيَدِهِ فَعَدَّ خَمْسًا. Nabi took hold of my hands and he mentioned 5 things. Inshallah, our time does not permit, but we'll mention 3 or 4 inshallah. He said the first thing which my Nabi told me was, he says, اتَّقِ الْمَحَارِمْ تَكُنْ أَعْبَدَ النَّاسِ. اتقوا المحارم تكن أعبد الناس. Ya Aba Huraira, what you do is اتقوا المحارم. Now, ulama will know, the words used there is ittaqu, the word which comes from the word taqwa. Nabi could have said ijtanibu, stay away from haram things. He says ittaqu, be very, very cautious and careful. Stay away from anything haram. Takun a'bada nasi, you will become the one who have worshipped Allah the most. Be very careful of anything haram. Whatever you do, make sure you stay far away from haram. If you do this here, you will become who has worshipped Allah the most. That means a Muslim's life is that of taqwa. Simple meaning of taqwa for all of us to understand and to take home, inshallah. Taqwa simply means to take care. Take care of yourself. Take care of Allah. Whatever I'm doing in life, is Allah happy? Is Allah happy? I'm doing this, is Allah happy? Am I going there? I'm going there now. If I die there, will my Allah be happy? That's taqwa. I want to give an example of what taqwa is. Imagine yourself walking through a very narrow lane. On your right are thorns, on your left are thorns. Above you are thorns, beneath you are thorns. But you have to cross that lane. How careful won't you walk through that lane? How careful, because little bit inclination towards your right, the thorns will prick you. Left, same thing will happen to you. But now you have to walk, you have to cross it. So how careful won't you be in crossing the lane? That careful, that cautiousness which you will have at that time, that's how much we should have in living in this life. Those thorns which are in that lane are the sins which we found in our life now and nowadays in this dunya. So we have to live the world, we have to be in the dunya. But remember, try and live your life in such a manner that at no moment is Allah disobeyed. That is taqwa. So simple word of taqwa, take care of Allah wherever you are. When Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was sending his Sahabi Muaz bin Jabal to Yemen, he tells him, "Oh Muaz, asa Allah talqani." Muaz, it's possible when you come back from Yemen, you won't find me here. Muaz, when you come back from Yemen next year, I won't be around. لَعَلَّكَ أَن تَمُرَّ بِمَسْجِدِي وَبِقَبْرِي. Muaz, it's possible you come back, you only see my masjid and my grave here. I won't be around. فَبَكَى Muaz. Muaz began crying. He hears this, he began crying. Then Salam tells him, "Oh Muaz, I know I'm giving you sad news, but let me tell you something to console you. Let me tell you something which will make you feel even better." He says, "Oh Muaz, inna awlan nasi bi al-muttaqun. Inna awlan nasi bi al-muttaqun. Man kanu wa haythu kanu." The people who are closest to me. I can be in Medina, you can be in Yemen. I can be in Medina, you can be in South Africa, wherever you can be, but who is closest to me? Not the one who's standing outside my grave, no. Who's closest to me? Al-muttaqun, those who have taqwa, man kanu, whoever they are, wa haythu kanu, wherever they may be. Taqwa is what will bring you closer to Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. You can be staying in Medina, Munawwara, but heart is bare of taqwa, heart got no taqwa. Then Nabi says, as if he's telling you, then you are far away from Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. To be close to him, you must have taqwa. So he's telling Sahaba, be careful of anything haram, you will be the one who is worshipping Allah the most. Second thing is, he tells him, the second advice to you, O Abu Huraira, وَرَضَ بِمَا قَسَمَ اللَّهُ لَكَ تَكُنْ أَغْنَى النَّاسِ. Be content. Be content with whatever Allah gives you. You will become the wealthiest of people. Adopt contentment. Be happy. The poet says it so beautifully. He says, إِذَا كُنْتَ ذَا قَلْبٍ قَنُوعٍ إِذَا كُنْتَ ذَا قَلْبٍ قَنُوعٍ. If you possess a content heart, if you have a content heart, فَأَنْتَ وَمَالِكُ الدُّنْيَا سَوَاءٌ. Then you who has nothing, you own nothing, you have nothing, you own nothing. But because you have this golden heart of yours, which is filled with contentment, he says, Anta wa malikud dunya sawa. He says, you and the man who owns the whole world, he's so rich. But he got no contentment. He's never happy. He's always complaining. You are same as him. In fact, you are richer than him. Because you are happy, but you got nothing. He got everything, but he's never happy. So if you have a content heart, you are happy with whatever Allah gives you. And then you and that king, you are the same. This says if you will adopt contentment in your life, then you will live like a king without a throne. Because you're happy with Allah. Whatever Allah gives me, alhamdulillah. So, oh Abu Huraira, have contentment. The other poet says so beautifully. Have such contentment, even if something is so small. لو لم يكن لك فيها إلا راحة البدن. It's something so small, it's only a shelter to cover my head. It's a small shelter, I got nothing of the world. But heart is at ease. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. So contentment. First, fear Allah. Second is contentment. The third thing he tells his Sahabi is, he says, وَأَحْسِنْ إِلَى جَارِكَ تَكُنْ مُؤْمِنًا. Be very kind to your neighbor. Be kind to your neighbor. Respect him, love him. Be kind to your neighbor. Again, now this is something, now look at the perfection and the kamal of our deen. Now something, the hadith didn't say, وَأَحْسِنْ إِلَى جَارِكَ إِنْ كَانَ مُسْلِمًا. No. Not be kind to your neighbor if he's a believer, no. It's general. Whoever your neighbor is, be kind to him. Remember good akhlaq which we show. Remember, نُعَامِلُ النَّاسَ بِأَخْلَاقِنَا لَا بِأَخْلَاقِهِمْ. We treat people according to our akhlaq. According to our character. And what's our character? The character of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. لَا بِأَخْلَاقِهِمْ. Not according to their character. He might be a hooligan, he might treat me anyhow you want. It's no problem. I'm a Muhammadi. I'm here to show you who was Muhammad. So I will do that. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in Medina and in Mecca, the kuffar are making so much mihnat, so much qurban, so much sacrifices to harm him, to cause difficulties to him. Well, what does he do? He put in front what is his character. The akhlaq of nubuwwat, that kindness, that gentleness. It was that character which invited people to deen. So, ahsin ila jarik, be kind to your neighbor. In fact, even more if he's a non-believer. Even more if he's a non-believer. Why? So inshallah, thumma inshallah, your kindness and your good character might be a form of da'wah to him. So even more when he's a non-believer, be kind to him. This is the kamal of our deen. So 3 nasiyat, from 5 we talk about 3 inshallah. Let's all make this niyat. Nabi told his sahaba that make amal, if you can't make amal, at least take this message of mine to somebody who will make amal. Let's also search with the same niyat and intention inshallah, that I will at least make amal upon one. If I can't make amal upon one, at least I will teach it to someone who will make amal inshallah. So this is our deen. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, لَقَدْ كَانَ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ. He came as a perfect example for all of us. So whatever words of nasiha, whatever advices he gave, it was what? It was a passport to Jannah. Make amal upon that. Our deen is such, our deen is so kamil, is so perfect, that it has no expiry date. So what Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam gave that time, and he said, if you do amal, if you make amal upon this, then you'll get this. Even now the same reward still applies. Even now the same reward still applies. In fact, that time it was easier. Now it's more Qur'ani to do. So all of us inshallah, let's make that intention. Let's sit here and say inshallah. First one is stay away from haram. Not just stay, but the best way is stay very far away from haram. اتقوا المحارم تكون أعبد الناس. Second is وَرَضَ بِمَا قَسَمَ اللَّهُ لَكَ تَكُونْ أَغْنَى النَّاسِ. Let's adopt contentment in our hearts. Whatever Allah gave us, it can be so small, it can be so little, but may Allah gave it to me. Allah's qasam. Look at the dua for, if you look at the dua for wearing a new garment, look at the wording of the dua. Alhamdulillahi alladhi kasani hadha bighayri hawlin minni wala quwwa. All praise is due to Allah who afforded me this garment, without any much effort from my side, and without any much more work from my side. If you look at how much work is made on one kurta, from what material and everything must be put together to make one kurta. How much work had to be done? How many people had to be put to work to make that one kurta? Then how much of that work did you do? Not even a pocket and paid and finished. So little, but how much work was done? So in comparison to how much work was done to get that kurta ready, you did nothing. Allah Ta'ala gave it to you out of His kindness. Another simpler example, we always say a plate of rice in front of you. In our country, there's no gardens of rice and everything. It is all from other countries. It's a plain rice that you are eating. Somebody in India had to go work. Somebody in India had to go plow the field, water the field, harvest the field, do so much work. Pack that thing into big, whatever they call it, from there to the harbor, from the harbor to South Africa, from here. So much work. Why? Allah knew that my slave somewhere in Joburg must have a plate of rice. How much Allah had to put into action to provide you with that simple, plain plate of rice. So aren't we supposed to be grateful to Allah? Contentment, be happy with Allah. May Allah gave it to me, He knows it's good for me. May Allah didn't give it to me, He knows it's bad for me. Imam Shafi'i rahimahullah says so beautifully. He says, whenever may Allah plan anything for me, he says, أُسَلِّمُ إِنْ أَرَادَ اللَّهُ لِي مَا لَا أُرِيدُ أُسَلِّمُ إِنْ أَرَادَ اللَّهُ لِي مَا لَا أُرِيدُ. Whenever something comes my way, I put away whatever I wanted to do. Whatever plans Allah put for me, I take that with full mind and acceptance. Because Allah knows what's good for me. فَمَا لِإِرَادَتِي وَجْهٌ إِذَا أَرَادَ اللَّهُ لِمَا لَا أُرِيدُ. What value are my plans? What value are my intentions when Allah has planned otherwise? What Allah said, that will happen. Brothers and elders, contentment. Let's be happy. Be happy with Allah. Sahaba were so poor. Sahaba had nothing of the world. One Sahabi comes to Prophet's house and he asks, and Aisha tells him, he says, Al-Wail, he says, Al-Hilal, Thumma Al-Hilal, Thumma Al-Hilal. He says, oh my nephew, we saw 3 moons. It means 3 months pass. Yet in the house, not even one the stove was left to cook. So I asked, so what you ate for 3 months? She says, Al-Aswadan, At-Tamru wal-Ma, Kajur, dates and water. They were so poor for 3 months, dates and water. They had nothing of the world. Allah's qasam, they were rich in the heart. Why? Because they had contentment. Allah takes an oath. That person who will have contentment, he can have the sky as his roof, the ground as his pillow. He has nothing of the world, but he has full trust in Allah, contentment in Allah. That person is aghna nas, is the most wealthiest of people. So let's make dua to Allah Ta'ala that He give us this contentment. All is through 3 nasiyat, inshallah. First one being staying away from haram, especially this in our time, at this time also, time of fitna, time of fasad. Make sure we stay away from all haram, inshallah. Second is contentment. Third is, let's try and be kind to every person that we see. Be it a believer, be it a kafir, any creation of Allah, every person in the world needs to be treated kindly. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam treated the worst of his enemies with respect, with kindness. Let's all, inshallah, everyone, every creation of Allah, let's respect them, let's honor them, let's give them that respect. Even if he's not a believer, but at least he's a creation of Allah. So may Allah give us tawfiq, inshallah.